Okay, I thought it would be fun to do this weave. This is a 5-strand braid. Very simple, easy weave. If you've made friendship bracelets with string, you can do the same thing with wire. So that's what this is. We are going to use rose gold color copper wire. This is copper. It is not rose gold. It is rose gold color copper. So I want to be very clear on that. People get confused really easily on that area. So first thing, we're going to figure out how much we need. You always want more than what you think you're going to need, because you can always cut off excess, but you cannot add on with this design. So we're just going to go ahead and cut off 5 strands that are 12 inches each. So I'm just going to cut this wire off. Okay, so now we're going to cut the bottom wires. So we're still going to have 5 individual strands, but 2 of them are going to be 24 inches long, and that's okay because we're going to twist that together at the top to form the veil. And this one single strand, we're going to twist it around so that they're all incorporated into the veil, but there's going to be a little tail that hangs off, and that's kind of important. So yeah, we're just going to twist these, twist. And how far you twist is how big the veil is going to be. So the more you twist, the larger the veil. Okay, to make the veil, find something about the size around that you want it to be. I'm using my pliers here with the different size on them, but you can use a pencil or a pen or just anything, your finger, just anything around. And then just kind of get these worked in there. And then you're going to take your little tail end that's left, and then that gets wrapped around to tighten and secure the veil, and then after that we'll start the weaving process. It can help to use needle nose pliers. I'm using my bent nose pliers here to get a hold of it and just pull it around and tuck it in and get it secure. Sometimes you have to play with it a little bit. Sometimes it goes really easy. And sometimes it's not 3 o'clock in the morning and you're half asleep trying to make a tutorial. Okay, so the way this braid goes is you aim 3 strands to one side and 2 to the other. And on your 3 side, on the top one on the side with 3, take the top one and give it just a little tiny curve. Let me pinch that down. Okay, there, give it a little curve, and then go over, and then under. So you go over the next wire, and then under. And now you have 2 wires on that side, and 3 wires on the other. And same thing. Go over, make a little tiny curve in your wire with your thumb, and then go over, and then come under. And now you're back where you started with 2 wires on this side and 3 on the other. And now we're just going to rinse and repeat until it's long enough to wrap around whatever it is we want to wrap around. There's definitely a learning curve, but it's a pretty basic design. The important thing while you're weaving is to keep your lines parallel, and keep in mind also that you can squitch it in tighter or you can pull it out wider. If it's wider, it's going to be shorter, and if it's narrower, it's going to be longer. It's always kind of tricky at the beginning because everything wants to kind of bunch up, but it's important to maintain the same ratio, the width all the way through. And you always know which is your working side because that's going to be the side that has 3. So you just go over, under, over, under. And you can play with it. There is some ability to manipulate the wires as you move down. And it goes really quick. These are fun and quick bracelets to make. You could make these in an afternoon, invite your friends over, have a nice little afternoon get together making a pendant and enjoying one another's company. And you can see the pattern starting to develop pretty quickly. See up here at the top, that spot. Let me see. I have a for messing with wire, you don't want to use metal. So you don't want to use your metal. All you'd want to use. Let me see, where is it? So up here, but it's got a nice point on it, and that's nice stiff metal. I know it's not going to scratch my wire, but I can get in there and I can get that curve that's supposed to be there. And don't worry about it too much here because that's going to be getting covered when we do our wrap around the top there. So widthwise, and if you pull it, it's going to make it more narrow. You want it to be just a little bit wider than what your cabochon is, and you can pull it to make it more narrow, or you can squish it together to make it a little bit wider. But yeah, so keep that in mind when you're doing your weave, that you do have some wiggle room. And just wrap it around. This is the part I'm concerned about. So I'm just going to go ahead and make that heart shape, or that V shape.
again, be careful because most of these drill bits have this metal piece. And if you put that for drilling all the way flat.
Okay, I'm going to cut these wires, but not all at the same time. So I'm going to tuck and then cut. Okay, now that we have the frame the right size, it's just a matter of working the wire around the heart-shaped cab. These are a lot more finicky than, say, an oval, which I'll do one of those next, so you can see the difference. This one's a little bit more complicated. I should have started with an oval. Okay, so what I'm doing here is I'm pulling the wire out to make it a little bit wider, because you want that to come out a little bit wider than the width of your cabochon, because it's going to fold over on both the front and the back, and you'll see here in a minute what I mean by that. Okay, so I'm using my plastic tool here to bend the wires, to push them around. This needs to be manipulated a little bit more. I'm really trying to get it tucked down in there as best as it possibly can. I'm not real happy with that little gap right there in the center. So I'm probably going to mess with this a lot more than I normally would. But we're just going to pull the wires just a little bit over the front and back of the cab. Here I'm starting at the back.
So this is just the tester piece, and I only have one thin part right, so it's still really good. Probably 2 coats. This is pretty thin coat resin. But I don't know if you can see there. I'll show you this. Okay. So
My cat is running around my feet meowing. She is relentless. She will not give up until she gets her way. But I'm going to ignore her for as long as I can.